Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. It's so great to be here today. And first of all, apologies for the delay. And before I start rambling, I want to say a huge welcome to the International Day of the Girl Child. This is a really important celebration, and I believe that it is worth celebrating because I'm one of the people that actually believe that society has always been unfair to women, unfair to girls. So I grew up in a home where I had two brothers, and I remember growing up, my brothers would always say, "I'm going to the cyber cafe," but as a girl child, we are always protected. We are always told, "Oh, this course is for a girl. Study this course," or "This a girl should not be doing this. A girl should not be doing that." But I'm so excited for how society is evolving today, and society is empowering women, and we must take the chance, take the opportunity to um, upskill and empower ourselves, and also give ourselves the opportunity to be seen, our visions to be achieved, and we should be heard as an integral part of society. So this International Day of the Girl Child, the global theme is girls' vision for the future. What is our vision? What is our purpose? What do we want to achieve in the world? We've long shifted from that era where we say the world it's a man's world. It's all of our words as men, as women, as young girls, as young women. The word belongs to all of us. And I keep every time I'm opportune to speak with women, I always like to say the word is your stage. Live it, dream it, be resilient, even if your dream scares you, even if you feel like this is too big for me to carry on my shoulders, you're going to achieve it. And this is going to be a really wonderful session. We have about three speakers, and I do not want to waste so much time, so that our speakers can immediately take up the stage and get to share with us what they have in store for us today. So very quickly, we'll be moving to the first session where we'll be having Cynthia Caxton, the lead product manager at Natview Technologies, and she's going to be sharing really important details on how we can actually embrace inclusivity. Hi, Cynthia.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning. It's so great to have you here today.
Oh, Cynthia. Same here. Actually, lovely speaking with you and
Thank you for
everyone.
joining us. We are excited.
Sure.
All
Let me
right.
check the camera. Yeah.
Okay, sure. We'll wait for that.
Yeah. Okay. I think my camera is turned on. Okay, fantastic. Hello.
Hi, how you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes.
Okay, you have the stage. I'll just leave you to just kickstart, and we just enjoy your session. So
Oh,
why Cynthia is going to carry on. If you have questions, if you have comments, do well to drop them on the chat box on YouTube. She'll do well to answer your questions and comments.
okay. So, just give me a minute to share my screen and we'll get the ball rolling. Just two
Okay.
seconds. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, while we're waiting for Cynthia to share her screen, if you're here and you're excited that today is your day, you're excited to have a celebration like this, just on the chat box, just leave a comment there. I saw someone's comment today on LinkedIn, and the person said, I don't know why today is not being celebrated, why women are not celebrating it. So do well to not just celebrate yourself, celebrate your girlfriends, celebrate your mom. It's not just about you, it's about every girl around you, that person that has impacted you positively. Cynthia, if you're ready to get started, just let me know.
Sure. Just give me a minute.
Yeah.
Mm,
So like I was saying, it's not just all about you, it's about every girl, every girl around you, because we just have a way of making things better, honestly. Girls have a way of making things better, shine brighter, move faster, and all of that. So we're going to have a reading. Okay.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Isabella. So I'm going to just proceed. Good morning, everyone. I believe you can see my screen, yes? Can you? Oh, you're muted. Yeah.
Okay. I can't see your screen.
Oh, okay. I'm sharing my screen. Let me stop sharing and share again.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Please confirm that you can see my screen.
Let me see. Not yet. Um, let me try this.
Okay, it shows me here that my screen is showing. So I don't know what could be the issue.
Um, okay.
Maybe anyone from the chat, if they could just, identify.
Hmm. Yeah, we can't see a screen.
Oh,
Hmm. I don't know.
I'm
Could
currently.
it be the layout? Not yet. I'm wondering if it's the layout we are using. Let me see if this would.
Okay. Okay, it shows me I can that my screen is being shared. Hmm. Okay. Uh-huh. It's currently sharing now, I think. Those on the call, can you see my screen? Just type. Great, great. Okay, so all right, awesome. So I'm just going to go ahead and proceed. Hi, awesome people. It's really lovely to be here and to have been invited to speak with you guys today on the International Girl Child Day. So I would go ahead to start, giving a quick introduction about myself. I am Cynthia Caxton. I'm a lead product manager and I work here in Natview. So, as a girl child myself, I have had, several challenges when it comes to breaking into tech, learning a tech skill, and getting to the point where I am today. So, today we'll just be talking about designing products that empower girls globally, right? So, in terms of the products that we use, in terms of communities that we share, in terms of the challenges that we ladies face, in today's economic world. And I'll just run us through some of the things that we'll be talking about. Of course, the good old introduction, and then we'll look at the landscape of um, the diversity in terms of work, in terms of gender gaps and all that. And then we'll talk about how technology can empower girls and how we can design products for inclusivity and also products, tested and trusted products empowering girls globally currently. And then we'll just wrap up the talk. So it's going to be a quick and impactful conversation. So let's start off with the good old introduction. When it comes to designing for inclusivity, right? The power of technology in empowering women. So I think for me right now, I feel like technology has been a very, very great driver when it comes to my career success, right? In terms of improving the impacts that we see worldwide, right, from within your community, from outside your community, across the continent and all that. It provides us with education, with different resources, with opportunities that can actually help us thrive and grow. Technology has been a key player when it comes to growth, maybe not just only for women but for everybody who is in the tech space or who is outside of the tech space. There's one way or the other that technology has impacted our lives. However, right, we can still see that there is a gap when it comes to the gender, right? Being a girl child or being a female and, working in tech, there is still that gap that needs bridging, right? From the statistics here, you could see that just 29% of women, right, or ladies or girls are in tech, right? That's a very, very huge number right now. And you can also see that the pay of women, right, are somewhat lesser than that of the female roles in terms in tech, right? So you could see that, for example, $10 per hour, right, and then $3 per hour for women, which is a very huge gap for us. So, in as much as technology has advanced our lives, has helped improve our lives, right, there are actually gaps that need bridging. And we can still see some of these gaps when it comes to limited educational access, right? So, um, in terms of our education system, there are people who live in very remote and underdeveloped countries who are denied these opportunities to attend school, maybe due to cultural norms, economic constraints. And I have firsthand seen some of these limitations, right? Mostly in rural communities, you see that It's hardly that you see a lady after completing her secondary education that she forwards into going for a tertiary education, right? Mostly you see them stopping at primary or secondary levels. And this is a cultural norm, right? It's not seen as something that is maybe stunting the growth of women or anything, but they already are so used to it with the mentality that, oh, you need to go back, help at home, and all that, right? And we can also see this gap when it comes to um, lack of economic opportunities. With lack of economic opportunities, there are limited access to employment and entrepreneurship opportunities, which can actually restrict us when it comes to economic independence and empowerment, right? In our workplaces, sometimes you see I saw a job post that says, oh, they are in need of like a receptionist, and it has to be only female, right? And they had other job openings, but no job openings were available for females in that role, but only receptionists, right, are available. So if you want to look at the economic space right now, it's actually improving a lot compared to how it was before. Right now, ladies are able to attain lead roles, they are able to attain CEO roles, executive roles, C-level roles, and all that, right? But there are still gaps that need bridging. So, equal pay, just like I said, when it comes to working in not just the tech community, myself and another person could be in the same role. And for example, I'm a product manager. I am paid 200,000, right? For example, and then there's another guy who is on that role and he's paid 250, right? And this could be due to a lot of factors. It could be due to gender, it could be due to negotiation power, and which a lot of women don't have, right? A lot of women don't have that ability for negotiation power. And that's something that needs to be spoken about more often and be thought when it comes to applying for jobs, etc. Now, how can tech um, empower girls, right? How do we do this? Tech can actually empower girls when it comes to education and learning, right? So we see diverse learning platforms that any woman can jump on and learn a lot of topics about when it comes to different aspects of text like coding, product design, UX, management, data analytics. So we see a platform like Coursera, which is open. You can apply for financial aids and all that. There's Udemy. There are a lot of platforms online right now that are tech driven that actually help you to learn different kind of skills without actually going physically to a classroom, right? So you can learn remotely, you can apply your certificates in terms of job applications and so on and so forth. And we can also see mobile applications that are actually helping to drive education and learning. We can also see digital libraries, so you don't need to go out to say, oh, I want to read about this. You can read almost anything right now online. Most hard print books are currently in soft copy versions on our phone. You can go to Medium for reading a lot of articles, most especially tech articles. Outside of tech articles, you can go to Medium. You can also visit, book repositories that are online to read. There are lots of libraries that you can find free books. Some of them are paid, some of them are discounted. You can actually have access to all this thanks to tech, right? And the second will be health and well-being, right? With health and well-being, I think there is a lot of breakthrough when it comes to health tech, right? It's not just all about going to the hospital alone. Health can be from your physical compositions, right? When it comes to going to the gym, right? There are applications on our mobile phones that we could use to have like yoga, we could have meditations, we could have any kind of health information app. We could read about health tips, right? You could put in symptoms online, to kind of sometimes they say don't search your symptoms on Google, right? Because it might kill you faster. But yeah, there are like online tools that you could use to kind of get easy diagnostics of when you're feeling ill and all that. There are telemedicine applications that you could also use, mental health support and resources for when you want to, talk to someone. There are people online, communities online that value discretions, right? So you know that whatever you're saying, it's confidential and you're not going to see it outside, right? So there are applications that cater to our health and well-being as women, and I think tech is really driving that and is making that landscape very, very easy for us to access. And I think lastly is the economic empowerment. So we could see economic empowerment right now through e-commerce platform. So if you check Instagram, there are a lot of vendors on Instagrams who are making a lot of money from selling their products online, right? The products don't have to be digital products. They can also be physical product, right? So you could see people selling their courses online. So I could sit in my room if I have a knowledge of product management. I could sit in my room, record a course or record like a 2 week course and sell it online, right? I can advertise on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, wherever it is, right? And I can also, if I have a physical product, like maybe I cook, for example, or I sell any kind of fashion brands or stuff like that. I could put them on Instagram. I could put them wherever, an online platform, on Jumia, and so on and so forth. And I can sell and make money from that, right? So that has actually make it way easier for us to, integrate into the economic system. And I think lastly is the digital skills training, right? So you see a lot of people selling their courses, just like I said, selling their courses online. You could access courses from different platforms. I think I mentioned Coursera, Udemy before. So yeah, you can sit, if you have a skill, record that skill and put it online for other people to see, for other people to consume, to buy. And even right now, you don't need to directly sell your product, right? Even from views, you could get income from views, from likes and what have you on YouTube, right? So think of that skill that you have and think of how to put it out there for people to consume while you're giving out value, but you're also making money for yourself, right? So technology have actually helped us or help empower ladies in various aspects, such as economic, health, and educational aspects. So oh, I think there's one other one I did not mention, social empowerment. Yes, I think I covered it around social media platforms and then online communities also that actually help integrate women who are looking to get into tech. There are 1,001 of them, which I'll be talking about very briefly in the coming slides. So we've talked about, the landscape of the gender divide in tech. We've talked about how technology is actually empowering girls. So now let's look at designing products for inclusivity. So when it comes to designing products for inclusivity, I know some of us here might have actually been in tech or are in tech, probably as product designers, product managers, software engineers, QA testers, content writers, and so on and so forth, right? We all contribute to designing products, right? Especially digital products. We all contribute in our very little or in our very big way to designing some of this product. And when you're designing a product, it has to be inclusive. It has to capture the diverse, the diversity of who are going to use your products, like the target audience, and so on and so forth. So when you're creating a product, you need to create a product as if you're not creating it, as if you're not, because you're not creating it for yourself, right? So you need to create that product and include every one of those people who you think that product is beneficial for, especially if that product is targeted as specific target audience like girls or like women, right? You need to include them to build a particular or that product that you're developing. So let's look at how we can incorporate inclusive and accessible design. So the first one is, of course, inclusivity, which actually help you to look at it from the perspective of your users. So if you're designing anything for women to use, you, especially if, for me, for example, if I'm designing an application for pregnant women, I have never been pregnant, I have never been a mother, right? If I'm designing that product, then I have to first off be able to understand the problem that is going on, right? What am I even solving, right? Who are the main people that are having this problem, which are pregnant women? So I'd want to talk to mothers who have kids, or expecting mothers who are pregnant, or people actually who, for some unfortunate reason or the other, might have had miscarriages or stuff like that, but have an experience in that field, right? I want to include them, I want to talk to them, I want to understand their problem, and then I want to create an application that is tailored towards solving that problem. That is what inclusivity does. And then accessibility, that product need to be accessible. They need to be able to use the product when it comes to user experience, when it comes to general architecture of that particular product, right? So if I'm creating for pregnant women, right, I shouldn't be selling that product to young girls, for example, right? I want to target pregnant women. I want to make sure that when they go to the hospital, maybe it can be recommended to them. It is cheap, right? Because not everybody uh, can afford to pay for applications online. It should have some kind of freemium version, or a 30 days trial, something that makes it easily accessible, and the experience should be top notch. I shouldn't be battling with pregnancy issues or pregnancy cramps, and then I'm struggling to open an application, right? So it should be easy, it should be user friendly, it should be something I find accessible, easy to use, and just very cool, right? And then the last one would be safe. So I think safety and security are paramount for any application. If I'm designing an application, I need to put into consideration that people are putting in sometimes are putting in confidential information. For example, if I'm building an application that caters to mental health issues, and I have a community on there where people can come and tell us about their story, or have a one-on-one with a psychiatrist or a therapist, right? One on one, for example. It should be safe enough for me to be able to tell my problems without panicking that, oh, I would see it online somewhere, right? We should be able to create a safe environment for women to talk about the problems that they are having, for us to create safety rules or safety policies around using that application, so that they know that whenever they come to that application, they are safe, their information is safe, the content that they put out there is safe, and the discussion between themselves and their health practitioner is safe, right? So this is how you can incorporate or design a product that caters to the girl child. And when I mean girl child, I'm not talking about babies, right? Female babies. I'm talking about each and every one of us that is currently on this call and who isn't. So moving forward, um, yes. Moving forward, we are going to look at products that are currently empowering girls globally, right? There are various products out there that target girls, that target women, and they are, putting putting it's all there in the map, right? You can assess them, you can see the impact, you can see the value that they have on the society, in the country, and and beyond. So let's look at the first one, which is, for example, flow. I myself, I use flow. Flow is a very gender specific application for women. You can use it for a variety of things, like tracking your circle, putting putting in your logging in your circles, and so on and so forth. You can have a calendar for yourself to see your various menstrual cycles. You can get resources. It can actually even predict when your next cycle is. If you're having cramps, it will tell you why you're having cramps. If you're feeling a certain way, right, it can actually predict why you're feeling a certain way. So flow has been designed for gender specific, like I said, women, to be able to help them um, with the change that happened to them, in their body, around them, and so on and so forth. And we also have She Code Africa, which is a community for women to actually help them in the tech space. I myself I'm in She Code Africa, and I can say that they actually help with a lot of um, resources, a lot of job opportunities, and so on and so forth, right? They actually help you they create a community where you can, communicate, where you can thrive, basically, when you can learn. So with She Code Africa, it's breaking the barriers. We are not just in Nigeria, they're everywhere across Africa. You can find a community that represents She Code Africa. And we also have the Women Techstars. So the Women's Textile is actually a learning platform for women to learn new skills, right, in tech. So from product design, product management, software development, and so on and so forth, right? Cybersecurity and so on. So it creates a very tight-knitted community for women to register, to learn, and to have mentorship, right? I have mentored and facilitate the women textile programs, and for sure, I know that this is a very, very in-depth and detailed program that provides you with vast curriculum when it comes to a specific field. So if you're looking to get into tech, you don't know the community to go to, you don't know the schools or programs to register for, this is a very good way for you to start your journey in tech, or to continue your journey in tech if you want to upskill. Right. And then I think lastly that I will talk about is the Preg Life application, that is also very gender specific, that talks about that provides pregnant women with help in different stages of their pregnancies, right? So for every trimester, you have a tailored guide, you have resources that could actually help you, and you have a community where you can share with, right? So all these products are tried and tested, and of course not by me, yeah, because I've never used Preg Life, but I look forward to using it in the future. So, but all these products tried and tested have actually helped women around the globe to be heard, to find opportunity, and to be centered around the various dreams and the various vision they have for the future. So with the whole process, right, when it comes to understanding the problems that we're having, the gap that we need to bridge, and how tech is is taking a play in the whole gender inclusivity. I'm going to round off here by saying that um, tech is an eye opener for everyone, and it is also a stepping stone for you to be able to reach that vision that you have, right? It's a stepping stone for you to achieve that goal that you want, a stepping stone for you to, be empowered, to be educated, to learn, for you to go and see different things that are happening around the world. Tech allows for sponsorship, tech allows for learning, tech is a place and a community, right? So what is most important is for you to find the right part or the right aspect of tech, the right community for you to share with, and the right path for you to follow for your vision. So I think I would wrap up my talk here. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment section while I hold for Isabella.
Thank you so much, Cynthia, for that.
Yeah. Thank you so
It,
much.
it's, it was really enjoyable hearing you talk about all of these products that are actually helping women globally. I think when I first got to know you, it was through the Women Tech Stars by Tech for Dev. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Oh,
that was like in 2022, or yeah, 2022.
oh, I
That was
didn't know
it.
that.
Yeah. I know you didn't, but I've been following you closely for some time.
Oh, wow.
Actually, since then. Yeah. So, on the comments, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, you can just free to ask them before we actually move over to our next speaker. But this was really a great introduction, a great speaking session, because we need to. I feel like most times when men create products, they actually cannot think about how they can make it inclusive for
Mm,
women. So it's
yeah.
really important. This topic is, for me, it's really important for every one of us, whether we are developers, we are writers, we are brand strategists, product designers. Every one of us is important, so that we know that we have to bring in inclusivity into whatever team that we are in. I'm looking at the chat. Currently, there are no questions, and honestly, I don't even think of any question I can even ask you right now, because we broke everything down so easily. So thank you once again for your time. Thank you for coming to speak with us. And we love you so much, and
Thank
happy
you.
International Day of Your Child to you.
Nice to see you. It has been a pleasure, and definitely, I look forward to listening to the other speakers talk about, some of these challenges, also how to design. And this has been a pleasure, and I thank you so much, Isabella, for inviting me to this event.
Thank you too for coming. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, I trust we are having a really great time. Before we move over to our next speaker, coming up next is
Okay, hi everyone. Good good morning and still happy International Day of the Girl Child. While waiting for the next speaker to come in, for code space though.
Hi, Buluwatife. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Hi, good morning. Yes, I can hear you. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm fine. I guess it was my network. Like I was waiting. It just wasn't it was I don't know. It was probably my network. I'm so sorry that I'm late.
Yeah. Oh, no, no worries. The network, it seems to be a general thing. It has been quite unstable lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are far ahead your speaking time. So I'll just leave you to do your thing. Welcome once again, and we look forward to an amazing session with you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone. Good morning. Thank you for having me. And again, apologies that I'm late. So today I'm going to be talking about coding for change and empowering girls to solve global problems. First off, happy International Day of the Girl Child. It's such an amazing thing to be a girl. Okay, so yeah, apologies. I don't have slides, so I'll just love if you could just follow me. I'll make it as interactive as possible. I couldn't like prepare slides for the session. So, yeah, coding for change, right? How exactly do you solve global problems as a girl? And you can see there's this specificity there, right? Coding, right? Coding. So I know that a lot of us might be like, oh, I'm not interested in coding. Coding is not my business. Or maybe you've even tried it, right? And you're like, oh no, this thing is too complex for me. I remember when I started out in tech in 2019, I started with coding, right? I started with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and hey, God, I ran away. It was so. I don't know how to explain it, but it was really complex for me, right? Till eventually I had to run back because there's really nothing in that you're using in the world today. There's really no technology tool that you're using. Even right now that you're watching me on YouTube, right? There is no tool that you're using today that doesn't require coding, right? There is no um technology tool, social media. Everything is literally based on coding. Everything that we do today is literally
Okay, guys, so sorry about that. It seems she's having a bit of network challenge once again. So just sit tight, and in the next few minutes, I believe she should be able to join in again. Okay. Um, she's actually here.
yeah. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, I'm really
Must be the network.
yeah. I'm really sorry about the network issue. So sorry. A minute,
Oh, no
please.
worries. No worries. I believe we are all used to it. Yeah.
Sorry, a minute. Right.
Okay, sure. Your time. Okay. So just bear with us, right? Bear with us while Blue Artifact just does a bit of setup, and in the next few minutes we would get right back into the business of the day. I want to believe that you are enjoying this session, and it has been impactful for you. So like I mentioned earlier, if you have questions, if you have comments, do well to just leave them in the chat box, and we'll do well to answer your questions within this session today.
All right, I'm back now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. Sorry. I really hope that we won't have any issues in network again. Okay. So,
Hope
yeah,
so.
just like I was saying, right? So you would want to ask that why coding is not for everybody. Okay, I'm into no code, right? Coding doesn't interest me or something. But then just like I was saying earlier, there's really nothing that you're trying to do today, or there's really no technology that is not built on coding. There's really no technology that doesn't require the code tools, right? Literally everything that you do today, even listening to me on YouTube right now, is built on a lot of lines of code, right? So coding is more than just JavaScript, it's more than just C sharp, it's more than just Scratch. You understand all those coding thing, coding tools, right? Or programming languages. Coding is more than the technical skills, right? Coding is like, I call it a superpower, right? You know that flex that you have when you know how to code, it's very, very much worth it, because coding gives you that ability to be able to think, right? It gives you that thinking. It makes you put on your thinking cap a lot of times. If you have to write lines of code, you are literally a problem solver. So coding is more than just the skills. It's more than you having to write codes or type in JavaScript or something. It's more than those things. It is a tool to create solutions. It is a tool to make differences, right? It is a tool to innovate. It is a tool to that allows you to think differently. It allows you to see challenges as opportunities. You can't be be into coding, right, and you won't have to think a lot of times. You have to sit down. You know those times when your friends, probably if you're not into the coding, like you don't code, right, probably you're into no code, and you have friends, right, and they will tell you that they have a bug, and sometimes you might just need to sleep and wake up. By the time you wake up, your senses will be back for you to start to fix the bug, right? So you have to do a lot of things like that. You have to put in your thinking cap a lot of times. So the beauty of coding, right, is that ability to solve problems. It's not even the JavaScript now, it's not the C sharp now, it's not the what's it called, the Scratch or the C programming language or the Java or the Python, right? Coding is you having to solve real life problems. And when you know how to code, sorry, when you know how to code, it gives you that there are a lot of there's that world of possibilities when you know how to code, right? It gives you that sorry, can you hear me? If you can hear me, can you just start? And if there's any point that I'd really love to know. Where's this thing loading a lot of times? I can't even see anything on my screen. Hi, Isabella, are you here?
Yes, I am. We can hear you.
Okay, if there's a point that you can't hear me, can you just help me? Like, can just let me know.
Okay, sure. I'll do that.
All right, thank you. I don't know why my screen is blank. I'm so sorry once again. So just like I was saying, right? So coding is, it helps you put on your thinking cap a lot of times. It helps you think. It gives you that ability to be able to solve problems. So as when you're trying to learn how to code, or even as someone that is coding, right, you need to be able to think about the next line of action, right? What is that next problem that I can solve? What is that next solution that I can what's that next problem that I can solve, right? What is that next difference that I can make? So I there's a particular quote that says software is eating the world right now, and you don't get involved, it's what it also swallow you up. So you have to get involved in coding. You have to find a way that you can solve problems. So coding also increases your understanding of how people are changing the world, and apart from that, it also allows you to get involved. Do you understand? So right now, I said I was going to be talking about empowering girls to solve global problems. What are the global problems that you can solve? There are different SDGs, right? On climate change, on education. You could pick up the next, as at now, there should be lines of interest that you have, right? It could be, okay, the no zero hunger, or it could be climate. Probably you don't, there is that part of the climate, you understand the whole degradation and everything, and it might be something that bothers you so much. You could think of a solution for it. It could be the zero hunger part of things or the education part of things. Just make sure that you are thinking of solutions, right? Because the difference between a lot of, there are a lot of good programmers, there are a lot of people that are just good, but then most of them are just creating solutions. They're just programming for others, right? They are not thinking of the next solution, or they are not thinking of the next difference that they want to make. So as girls, right, as ladies right now in our world, trying to even if you're not in coding right now, but then you should be able to think of the next problem that you're going to solve in the coding sphere or in the technology sphere, or even not in technology sphere. Just like I said, technology is involved in literally everything that we do. So how exactly do you get started, right, in coding, especially when you do not have any um especially when you do not have any experience, right, in coding earlier? And just one thing I also like to clarify is that if even if you are not in the coding part, right? Like me right now, I'm not entirely in the coding part, but then I still had to learn a programming language. You could be a product manager or a product designer, but then you having that coding skill gives you that edge over others. Do you understand? So it doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, I'm not, it's not my business, I'm not a front-end developer, I'm not a back-end developer. But then we have technical product managers, right? And there's always that hedge that you have as a product manager where you know how to code, or as a product designer where you know how to code. So it doesn't necessarily be that, okay, I'm interested in coding, I'm not interested in coding. Coding helps you a lot, right? I already gave you the importance, right? How it helps you think very, very vast, right? How it helps you solve problems and how it helps you understand how problems are solved. So how exactly can you get started? Because I know that coding can be intimidating. I remember when I started, right? And a lot of people are like, they just see people that don't code as people that are not doing anything tech, right? And sometimes you just, when I started out, the reason why I started coding was because I just wanted to belong, right? People were, oh, I'm a tech sis, I'm a tech bro, I'm a this, I code in Python, I code in JavaScript. And I was like, oh, me too, I want to code now, me too, I want to code. And I ran away. It was later on that I got to understand why I needed it, right? Why I needed to learn how to code. That was when I got settled with it, and it got really interesting for me. So first off, you need to understand your reason why. You need to know why you want to learn how to code. If you are coding because you just want to belong, you will run away because it's going to be very frustrating for you. Coding is not easy, right? I'm not going to say that it's easy at all. It's very, very complex. That's why I said it requires you to think a lot. So when you're trying to learn how to code, you have to have a solid reason why. Your reason why should not be, oh, there's money. If you know how to code, you're going to make a lot of money. Or your reason why should not be, oh, my friend is coding and is doing so well. You know, when you say you know how to code in C sharp now, they give you, like, you have this class or something. Please, that should not be your reason why. You have to have a solid reason why, right? Me personally, I just loved taking up challenges, right? I love to see how problems were being solved. I as at that time I was working in a company, right, as a product manager, and I just loved the way the devs were like had to think so much, and I was like, I need someone to, not like I'm not thinking as a product manager, but then you have to think really, really vast. You have to be able to put two and two together. Sometimes it might not add up to four, but you find a way to add up to four, right? So it was just so interesting, and that was why I wanted to just pick it up. So you have to have a solid reason why. Why exactly do you want to learn how to code? Why exactly do you want to start coding, right? And one thing I'm going to say is to start small, right? You can't know it all at once. That's one thing that you have to understand. You have to give yourself that space to learn. I remember that time it was like as if, sorry, I'm going to be using myself as an example because I'm the perfect example. It was like as if I should know how to do everything in one day, right? So you have to give yourself that space of learning. You have to understand that every great coder, every person that knows how to code, your favorite coders or something, they started with a simple line of code. They started with hello world, right? So why exactly do you need to pressure yourself? There's that place of process. You have to start small, and while you're starting, you have to know that, okay, yes, I want to solve problems. I'm not just like every other programmer. Yes, I'm not just like every other programmer. I want to solve problems. You have to think about issues that you care about. That's the most beautiful thing about people that are thriving in technology, right? You have to, it could just be a simple thing, right? You just have to think about that gap that you want to fill. What's that next gap that I want to fill in the tech space? What's that? Most of the other speaker was telling us about different apps for women and all. It started from one person thinking about a single idea. It started from, oh, I don't want this thing like this. Why is this thing like this? Let me create a solution for it. So you have to be able to think about problems that you care about. What are the things that you care about? What are the things that you want to do? What are the things that you're passionate about, right? It could be climate change, zero hunger education, just like I shared earlier. We have a lot of SDGs, right? So another thing that you also want to do is to believe in your ability to create. That's one thing that's that can be very, very, it might sound really simple, but trust me, it's not as simple as it sounds, right? You have to believe that, okay, yes, I can create something beautiful. I can create a problem that the whole world is going to be using. I can create something that will stand the test of time, right? As a female, right, you have to believe that you have that ability to create. You have that ability to create really problems that people are so much bothered about, right? So most of the biggest changes in the world today started from a single idea. It started from one person with one idea. It is not what's it called, it didn't fall from heaven, right? One person actually started the idea, one person actually saw that gap and said, okay, yes, I need to fill this gap. So I saw a quote that says that every new architecture, right, is just a reimagination and readaptation of an idea that was floating around for a while. One person just picked it up. And the thing about ideas is that you are not the only one with that idea, but then it has to do with the first person that executes it. So whenever you have that idea, it doesn't, oh, I'm going to wait or something. A lot of people have that thing in their heads. So you have to, when what code one thing that coding is going to teach you is to also like take it up, pick up those challenges as soon as possible and start to create solutions around them. Do you understand? So one other thing that you also want to do as when trying to code for change, right, is to constantly build your skills. This cannot be overemphasized, right? You have to, when you're building your skills, apart from the fact that you are getting good at what you do, you are building your confidence. That is the main part of you building yours. That's the main thing I'm going to like. I want to highlight today when I'm talking about building your skills. So the more you know, the more your confidence, the more you can get up and speak up in rooms, right? You have to build projects. It just expands your mindset, right? It expands your experience, it expands your knowledge, right? But when your knowledge is being expanded, you're getting more confident at what you do, right? You're getting much more confident at building, you're getting much more confident at solving problems. Do you understand? So it is not just about, okay, yes, I want to be so good so that people are going to know that I'm good or something, but then it helps you to build your confidence. It helps you to be very much confident at what you do, even if coding is not something that you are very much interested in. Just like me, just like I said, I don't do coding 24/7, but then everything it has given me that hedge, right? As a product manager, whenever the devs at the company I work at, whenever they are talking, I can also put them out, and I can also like give suggestions, right? Give suggestions on how problems can be solved. So coding for change, coding exactly gives you that confidence, right? It helps you to know that, okay, yes, I can actually speak up in rooms, I can actually create beautiful problems, I can actually solve problems.
I don't know about you guys, but I was really enjoying this session, and boom, network has done its thing again. But don't worry, Oluwatife is trying to join, but network just keeps kicking her out. I think we are at the point where most times we need to, use multiple SIM. I am in that era currently. I have my MTN subscribed, I have my Airtel subscribed, and I have a backup Glow SIM just in case for situations like this. It's really not easy trying to, get on a call and network just making everything flop terribly. I don't know who else is having a good time, but I am. I could actually relate with Bulu Atife when she mentioned that at a point she felt that pressure, like, oh, I need to learn a programming language. I think for most of us, we've all been in that situation. Hi, Bulu Atife, welcome back.
I'm so sorry, I'm having a dick already.
I can
I'm so
imagine. I
sorry.
was just saying that. I was just saying I'm at the point where I subscribe 3 SIMs and I even have like a backup.
It's just really tiring.
Honestly. All right, please go ahead.
All right. Okay, so all right, thank you. So just like I was saying, right? So when you want to get started, I already talked about you having something solid. Why exactly do you want to learn how to code? Don't do it because someone else is doing it, and believe in your ability to create. You can take up a course. It could be there are a lot of free resources, right, to get to learn how to code, and there are a lot of communities that you can join. One other thing that will also help you is to join communities. Ask a lot of questions, get mentors, and also share your journey. So, one thing that I also want you to understand is the world is like constantly. Right now, I'll be dwelling more on solving global problems, right? So the world is constantly um, experiencing a lot of challenges, right? Sorry to say that, right? We have a lot of fresh ideas. We have a lot, like, there are a lot of ideas that you can bring up from different problems and can bring up new solutions, right? So when you know how to code, you are able to innovate, right? You are able to create, you are able to solve these problems, and you're change makers, right? You're world change makers. So it could just be a very, very simple problem. It could be that, like me personally, when I was going to start my own community, right, I was on LinkedIn, though this is not on coding, right? But we also help people that are also coding. And I just saw that gap, right? I couldn't find any community for techies that were on LinkedIn. It was just a simple idea. And I was like, why? As big as techies, as vast as techies, why don't we have a community for techies? It was just a simple idea. And just one thing I said earlier is you are not the only one with that idea. But there are a lot of people, there were a lot of people that had that idea, but then I was the first to execute it. So I just wanted to point the fact that your idea could be something simple. It doesn't necessarily have to be the big ideas, right? It just has to be, you just have to have that mind to, yes, I want to make a difference. Yes, I want to solve a problem. Yes, I have that ability to create. I have that ability to innovate. So the solutions of tomorrow, the solutions of the, not even tomorrow now, today, because the time is now, right? The solution of the now is what starts from you, starts from we as girls. And one thing that I love about girls is we are very, very, very brilliant people, right? When we step into a particular sphere, we tend to stand out, right? That's the main thing. A lot of people are doing well in tech. We have a lot of guys that are doing very, very well in tech. But then when we get into a particular sphere, it could be artificial intelligence, it could even be this coding that I'm talking about. We tend to like what stand out. So one thing I'm going to say is think critically, right? When you're trying to solve problems, make sure that you think critically. Code, like when you're trying to write code, you are being creative about it. I told you, coding will have to be creative, and it can be that when you solve problems, you can solve as a job. It doesn't have to be that I don't know why this thing is loading. It doesn't have to be things that are particularly related to girls, but then it could just be a problem that you see in the world that is lingering, right? And you just decide to pick it up and solve. So coding empowers you. It gives you the tools to be independent, to create something different, to create something worthwhile. It gives you to create something out of nothing, right? There are different programming languages that you could use to just create tools on its own, and mind-blowing tools. So it gives you a way to contribute in the world to make that difference. So it allows you to build that future that you want to see, right? There are a lot of, I know that a lot of us here, we aspire for a lot of things. You can see a particular app and you're like, why is this thing like this? Why didn't these people have this? Why didn't these people have that? Why is this thing, why is the world like this? Or why is the climate, or why are we dealing with this in Nigeria or something? Technology can solve it. That is it. There's literally nothing right now that technology cannot solve. So make sure that you bring up ways, right, to contribute to the sphere, to contribute to the atmosphere, to contribute to the world at large, right? Just like they say, the change that you desire, starts from you, starts from me too. So the next, you could think about, okay, what's the next big thing? It could even be small thing, doesn't necessarily have to be the big thing, right? What's the next thing that you want to create? Okay, what app, what's platform do I want to build, or what thing can I be a part of, right? So here is me challenging you today to take the leap, right? To take that next step, right? And don't be afraid to also make mistakes. Mistakes are also part of the journey when you're trying to build up global problems, right? That's the most beautiful thing about the most beautiful ideas, right? They are also always going to bring beautiful challenges, but the beautiful thing about it is that you're able to overcome them. You understand? So you have to be, just like I said, believe in the ability to use coding as a force for good, and not just that, okay, yes, I can code, yes, I know how to code, yes, I'm a techie, blah blah blah. You know that flex that you get, but then you use it as something that can actually change your own world. You can use it as something, as a potential to be part of that generation that you want to be a part of, and part of the future that you want to see. So if you are not in the coding space, I'll just be ending with this, right? If you're not into coding, probably you're not learning any programming language, you're into no code, you have no business, right? I urge you to, you can just pick up a programming language. It could just be something that you do for fun, right? Me, I just did it for fun. I just wanted to, okay, let me just see how this thing works during my leisure time. That's what I do during my leisure time. I just take up courses and learn how to code in languages that I'm interested in. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that, okay, yes, you want to do it, you want to earn a living from it. Do you understand? But you could use it as, it gives you that edge over others as a product designer, as a product manager, or something, or whatever sphere that you are in the tech space. And when you pick it up, when you learn it, I already gave you steps to learn. That's not the focus for today. But when you do that, you don't just learn for learning's sake. Pick up a problem that you can solve, right? And if you cannot even start up something on your own, you could be a part of something beautiful. We have a lot of projects, right, that you can be that you can be a part of. We have free communities, different forces, right, that are rising up. You could volunteer for them. Just make sure that you are using your coding, using coding as a force for good. You're using it as a tool for change. You're using it as a tool to build the future that you want to see. Do you understand? And just like I said, do not forget, as we are girls, right? And we have that ability to create really beautiful things because our minds are so beautiful. So you have that ability to create the next big thing. Whatever that you can see today, whatever app that you see today, the YouTube that you're using, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Kuda, right? Go and I've listened to a lot of women that have started startups or that have built really amazing things. It started from one idea. It started from someone just thinking about something like, why is this thing like this? Why can't it be this other way? Right? So just like I said, coding will give you that mind. You'll be able to think very, very well. And when you get the idea, make sure that you implement. You can bring up people together. And if you know that, yes, for now you don't have that idea, then can always be a part of changing the future. So I hope I've been able to should I say convince and not confuse you that yes, you can use coding as a tool for change, and you can also, you have that ability to create something beautiful as a girl. Thank you very much. Hi Isabel, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, yes, I can hear
Sorry,
you
I
now.
was muted. Sorry, I was muted. Thank you so much. That was really inspiring. And thank you for sharing a lot of your experiences with us. And, a lot of people in the comments could relate to the fact that they were pressured into, probably learning a particular tech skill, especially coding. I've been privileged to work in organizations where sometimes I'm like the only girl or one out of two girls. And these tech bros, they have a way of, I don't know, they usually have this inflated shoulder pad. I don't know. And sometimes you just feel pressure to want to probably learn a language even though you are not interested in actually doing that, but you just feel want to have that sense of belonging and be able to contribute to conversations. And I believe that a lot of us here, we are pursuing our various careers based on the fact that we are passionate about it, and not just the sense having to feel that sense of belonging. Um, Currently, looking at the chat box, okay, every technology is built on coding. Yeah, someone was concurring to that. Yeah. Okay. So if there are any questions or comments, please do well to use the chat board. Just ask your question. If there is anything the speaker says that resonates deeply with you, just put them in the comment section. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for having this wonderful talk with us. I really appreciate it. It was exhaustive, honestly. It was exhaustive, and I enjoyed it despite the fact that network was trying to bring one or two glitch, but for the moment that we had stable connection, it was really worth the time. And I'm sure every one of us on YouTube can quite agree that it's really been an amazing session with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. So we're going to be moving over to our next session, and we'll have with us on stage Dusin Favour Fayietole, popularly known as Dusi Codes, actually, and she's going to be talking with us on the topic empowering girls through open source, how we can actually collaborate and build future tech leaders, because collaboration is a key part in whatever we do. And she's going to be sharing her 2 cents, her depth of knowledge just on that topic. So let's have Favor. Hello, Favor. Hi, Favor. Can you hear me? Okay, it seems your mic is muted. Okay, it's not muted, but I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, I can.
So, good morning, everyone.
Hi, good
Um,
morning. Happy International Day of the Girl Child.
yes, of course. Happy International Day as well. So, I'll be talking to you about open source, empowering girls through open source. And I would like to start with what is open source, right? So, open source is a way of sharing code and collaborating with the world, fostering community and um, building skills, right? Technically, open source is any software that the code is available for um, the world to use, see, distribute as they see fit, right? So, how does open source empower you, right? Open source is very accessible. It's one of the easiest aspect of tech you could literally get into. It's so simple. You don't really need to be a tech savvy person. You don't need to be a grandmaster in tech or in code. You just need to be interested in tech, be interested in fostering community, be interested in the people, and that's all you need to really be into open source, right? It does not matter if you're interested in coding or you're interested in designing or you're a technical writer, right? So this means that as someone who is new to tech, you can easily just go into open source, right? How else is like open source empowering to you, right? Open source allows you to have real world experience without being or without having a job. right? So open source lets you have those reward experience you get, you need to get at a job, you know, writing, having the no sorry rather having those industry standards experience. And open source is the perfect gateway to have industry knowledge without being active in a job side of the industry, right? So the main point of open source is collaboration and community, which means that in open source you need to be someone who personally loves community. You don't want to just code alone in your room or work alone in your room. You want to be at the forefront, building with the community, right? So how do we enable collaboration in open source, right? What's the benefit of the collaboration in open source, right? uh Open source allows you to meet industry standard people, seniors in the field, and allows you to gain experience, like I've said before. It also um allows you to meet diverse set of people all over the world. I've met people from India, US, Pakistan. I've met people from Dominican Republic before from open source. So I think like open source is a very beautiful way to travel around the world without having to travel around the world, right? And it's so much fun to build and see different communities and standards from different parts of the world. And that's how open source can, help with collaboration. So how the main topic of this was, empowering girls through open source, how to be a better leader, better tech leader. So we're going to talk about how open source helps with that, right? I personally started my open source journey from um, creating my own open source project. Many people around the world will always wonder or be worried about what projects to contribute, how they will go about that. And I decided that why would I, join the crowd when I can create my own projects and then push those projects out there for the world to use? What's the point of trying to find projects of different projects from many people when I could do mine? And that's one thing that have really, really pushed my skills above and beyond for what I've known. I started open source. I was like just like few months in tech at that time, and I decided to start a project. I made it open source, and I remember that time the code base had so many bugs, and I was so new, and I was trying to build something complex that I didn't even fully understand. When I made it open source, the amount of people who came in to make it better. I maybe to meet people that are so smart in the industry. I mean, I was trying to fix a bug for about 6 months or so, and someone was able to fix that bug in just 2 days, including telling me what I did wrong, how I did it wrong. And I was like, wow, this is the benefit of open source. I didn't need to keep being in my room 24 hours every day trying to fix that issue. And taking that step or that side of creating my own project as a tech person really built my skills, right? I have learned something that if I kept being in my room trying to fix it myself, I would have spent a year. But with open source, I spent 2 days actually fixing the bug, finding out the reason, and understanding how and what went wrong. So, how did this make me a better leader, right? When I got into open source, when you get into open source, you have to learn how to bring a community to contribute to your project. You can't just create a project and leave it there, right? You have to learn how to bring people, invite people into the open source project. You have to lead them. You have to look at everything they propose. You may not be super smart, but you are the owner of your project. So you need to know where you want your project to go, right? So if um someone comes with an issue, right? They want to comes with an issue or a future proposal to your project. You as the leader, you as the open source owner, the project owner has to think of how does this issue or this future they are proposing help enhance this project. Is this what me as a person or we as a community want, or is this something we don't want at all? And I had to think of that and also think of how well this can be executed even though I didn't really have much experience at that time, having to do this, then if it's a project that a future that I didn't really understand how it benefits, I could ask the person, hey, okay, so I don't understand how this project or how this future would benefit the project. Can you give me your rundown? Now it has taught me that I'm not the only one on the side, right? I'm a bit the leader and the owner of the project, but it's a community project. So we all have to come together and think of how this is going to get us to the next level as a community and as project wise. So we'll sit down and I would say, hey, how do you think this would enhance this project? And when I get that reason, I can combat it being like, oh, we don't really want this right now, or oh, thank you for this, right? That has taught me to be a listening leader who listens to the people and gain experience, right? So how else can you be a leader through open source, right? I just talked about how I was able to communicate properly with the contributors that were coming over to the project, and it really enhanced my communication skills. Because at the beginning, when you first get someone coming to, let's say you've built a very beautiful um outfit, right? And then someone just comes into your room and be like, that looks bad, you could do this, you could do this. At first, you feel attacked and you will not know what to do with that information. But as time went on, relating this back to open source, as time went on, I could realize that these people aren't here to criticize my work. They were here to enhance us and me as a community, right? So therefore, um I was able to learn to be a better communicator, able to learn how to be a better acceptor of feedback. And this has allowed the open source project to grow as well. And another thing open source will help you with as a leader is managing projects, right? As a leader, you need to learn how to manage things properly. I think when I first started in tech, I had two projects I was actively maintaining as an open source person across GitHub. Both were my personal projects as well, and maintaining them was difficult because I have to wonder, do the rules for this project apply to this other project, or do I have to separate them and make them a separate entity? And being like having to build that skill over time was super useful for me. And the last point that I think open source really helps people in being to growing as a leader is guiding other contributors. Even though I started, being a maintainer at first, being able to guide other maintainers, or sorry, other contributors coming through the project, those who are new to open source, those who were, maybe they've contributed to something once before and never touched it again. I was able to guide them on the right step because I could really look at what I would want contributors to do in my project, and I will guide them on how this could fit generally in all of open source, right? So being into open source can really help you to be a leader. But this is from the maintenance side of things. How about when you are just a contributor to a project? This like we can go back to the first point, which was really in like having an initiative, right? You go to a project for the first time, you don't have to be a backseater, right? You can take initiative, look at issues, look at how the project is going, suggest feedback that you see fit, and you don't even need to suggest feedback, right? You can just go up to a maintainer or the owner and be like, hey, I'm interested in contributing to this project. What are something that we or you want as a community, right? So that's maybe now you've become a forerunner rather than a backseater in open source. And same way you still build communication skills as a contributor. Now you can ask maintainers. You can ask the maintainers how this specific feature they're building is impacting the project and their own community, learning how they want things to work in their project. So you can also still be able to guide other contributors, even yourself as a contributor, kind of like how just because I'm on step 3 on the ladder does not mean I cannot mentor someone on a step 1 on that same ladder. So how do you get into open source, right? I find this topic is always hard because people don't know where to go, how to find the right projects to contribute to, and things like that, right? So I think the best way I would think of is look at the people in the industry, right? What projects are they talking about? What projects are they building? Find out which of those projects are open source and get into them. Right? Since you have those people in your networks, may or may not be following them, but you have uh, a sight into who they are as a person and why they are contributing to these projects. So you may have a little bit of aligned goals with that project as well. Another way you can do is look at the kind areas of tech you are interested in and find the open source tools or products that are built with that technology. For instance, some technologies themselves are open source, like React, WordPress, Facebook. Those are open source projects as well. You can just go look at them and see where you want an improvement or where you uh, think things can be better. The second thing you want to do is understand that project, right? When you first get into an open source project, you see open source project for the first time, it's super overwhelming, right? What you want to do is understand that project. There are different ways of doing that, but one way or two ways that I think are like very, very good is look at a particular feature that probably got released or does not have to be recently released in that product, and then try to understand how they went to that like top of publishing it, right? So did they write test first, documentation second, code third, things like that. Try to understand the code base and how they got to that particular feature being live. You can do this by just reading through the code base alone. It does not really matter. And another thing you could do is monitor issues that are being raised in that project. This way, you know how I talked about how me as a maintainer would talk when contributors recommend features or improvements. We'll talk about how this impacts the community or the project. You can do the same where you watch the maintainer engage with the contributor and see how things are done in that project. This makes it less overwhelming for you as a contributor. So, what are the simple steps you can do right now? Right? Simple steps. First step is find good issues, which is what we will call good issues in tech, where the issue is on GitHub and it's easy for everyone to tackle those issues. Maybe something like fixing a or adding a simple line to the docs or fixing a spelling error. This kind of issues are just meant to ease you into the project. Another thing you can do is work on the docs, right? Work on the docs allows you to see the documentation side of everything that's happening on the code, going on in the code base. You can then try to read the docs and see if you don't understand anything. Then ask in the either their own community on Discord, Slack, or ask in sorry, or ask in GitHub itself, and then they can explain to you this issue you're having. And then you can now see how you can add that to the docs. Because if you are confused by that thing, that means someone else is definitely confused about that thing as well. So the other thing you can now do, this is very simple. You need to join a community. There are different women communities out there. There's She Codes Africa, Women Who Code. You need to look at those community. You'll find so many mentors, so many awesome women in tech that have gone far and beyond with open source and regular software development as a whole. You can also find designers. You don't have to stay alone in this journey. You can go and join communities. And that's literally all my presentation. Thanks for listening and happy Girls Day again. Back to Isabella.
Okay, thank you so much for
Thank you
that.
so much.
Anyway, it sounds like I'm echoing.
I think
Thank
you're
you so
fine.
much.
I'm not
Thank
sure.
you so much.
It's
Yeah.
fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then must be from my end. Thank you. It's that was actually a wonderful presentation. Um, and I love the fact that you've actually shared your own experience, because I think one of the things people actually struggle with is how to get into open source, because there are very few. I wouldn't say there are a whole lot of open source advocates, but while there are a couple of them, there are a handful of them. Not everybody still knows how to navigate and build. I think majority of people, when we actually get into tech, especially women, when we get into tech, we are trying to focus on internships. Oh, I need to land this internship for me to be able to build my portfolio, forgetting the fact that there are actually open source projects that you could actually contribute to and even gain more insights working with cross-functional teams. So I want to believe that everyone of us who are here today, we found this of really good value, because for me it was really great getting to you know hear your own insights from this. So thank you very much,
Thank you for
Favor.
having me.
Really appreciate you honoring this invite and getting to share your experience. It's such an amazing one. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me again. Happy International Girls' Day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm looking at the chat, and let me see. I can't see any questions here. Yeah, there are no questions at the moment. Okay. Okay, this is a very okay, this is just a joke. 50-50 shoulder pads. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for that. Since there are no questions, we'll just move over to our community manager, Precious. Thank you for
All right.
coming today.
Thank you for having me again.
All right,
Bye bye.
bye. Okay, I want to believe that we've been having a really great time here. And if you're still here, you are active, just drop your favorite emoji, or just tell us what has been one high point for you in this session today. Just let us know. Um, this is what has actually stood out for me today, right? Okay, Precious, our community manager, will just come in to tell us more about Code Space, what we do, and from there, I can just pretty much wrap everything up from my end. All right, Precious, you have the floor.
All right. Thank you, Isabella. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, everyone. Happy International Day of the Girl Child. I personally had fun listening to all the speakers, from Favour to Oluwatife and Cynthia. I I picked out some things from what I think the second speaker. She spoke about inclusivity in the tech space, mainly for girls. I did not really hear anyone share a story, but I know there are times even in the tech space, I hear some things like, someone actually told me though, people asking you, why are you doing this? This is supposed to be a male thing. Um, you're not supposed to be here. Especially, I think that developers can relate more to that. But that's what we are preaching today. And this year's theme is the girl's vision for the future. So thank you, especially to all the speakers. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for sharing your 2 cents with us. I learned a lot, and I hope others learned. But in the meantime, if you have questions, you can always drop it in the chat section for maybe those just joining in, and this recording will be available. So about Code Space is basically a community for Gen Zs in tech, all fields of tech from developers, designers, um, AI, ML, any field. We are trying to create a safe space for basically Gen Zs because we understand that we are the growing generation, yes. And you find out that the main emerging ideas are mainly brought up by Gen Zs, which is a good thing. So we are creating an environment where even those who have little to no knowledge about tech can always come up, learn something, collaborate, like Isabella said. There should always be collaboration and basically build. So I think that's all I have to say for now. Thank you to everyone for showing up. If you can hear me, I'll appreciate if you just type a happy International Day of the Girl Child in the comment section. Let me type mine now. Alright, I've done mine. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Isabella. Over to you, Isabella.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Precious. Really appreciate. And thank you to every one of us who made time to be here. It has really been an amazing session. Thank you to everyone who has been interacting, engaging. We see you. Big shout out to Covenant, Gloria. I think I see. Paul Atufe, and every one of us who are here today. And, the journey doesn't just end after this wonderful session today, it continues. Today is just a special day to appreciate all girls around the world, and we decided to have this special ceremony to not just celebrate the girl child, but to also celebrate girls in tech, which is very important actually, because for for centuries, right? Women have been innovating, they've been in tech, right? But despite the notion that it's a male dominated world, look at you, look at me, look at every one of us who are in the tech space. We are setting the bar, we are setting the standard for other women. Girls yet to be born, we're setting the standard that it is okay for you to be in tech, as despite the fact that you are a girl or you are a boy, the tech industry is for everyone. It's meant for us to contribute so that we can make the world a much more better and safer place. I remember this quote. I can't remember who actually said it, but the quote is, I'm going to paraphrase now. The quote is actually saying that when women are involved in certain things, they make everything much more better. And I remember around 2022, 2023, when I interviewed Blessing Abeng, one of the things that she said that struck me was that when she enters into a room, well, the room now is not like a physical space, but any place at all, any it could be an industry or anywhere at all, and she's the only woman there, she doesn't feel comfortable. She always feel the need to ensure that more she's able to bring more women into that sphere, into that circle, so that we can contribute and build. And before I wrap up, I think the last word I'm going to leave every one of us with is from Coco Chanel, which says, a woman can be who and what she wants. And that's the absolute truth. As long as you can dream it, you can work hard, you can achieve it. So do not let society set the standard. You are the standard. So whatever you do, is the world is going to follow after whatever you do. So live your dreams, be your dream, take charge of your life, and explore whatever and wherever the future would take you to. So this is pretty much everything we have for you today. So thank you so much for coming, and happy International Day of the Girl Child to every one of us once again. Uh, till another time, do take care of yourself and keep shattering the ceilings, the bar, and of course, setting the standard. So, bye everyone for now. Bye, Precious, and every one of us.